Okay guys, so I had a couple requests and questions regarding the frameless prints, also known as floating prints, floats. So I'm gonna make a quick video about how I make those. So basically what do we have? We have a 13 by 19 so-called frameless print, like this one. It's printed on usually luster or semi-gloss paper and then mounted onto self-adhesive 6mm Sintra PVC. I will post the link in the description or comments. So this is how the finished product looks like. It can be either black or white. So here's one of the prerequisites for this frameless print is you have to make the print slightly larger than the board you're working with. So this board is 13 by 19 and you would think, well, I can print on an A3 plus, but the problem is when you do this, and here's the example, apparently the A3 plus or 13 by 19 is slightly smaller and you will end up having an ugly white strip like I have here. So this is one of my early tryouts, and I also see I was also printing on 3mm PVC. I don't do them anymore. I don't like how they bend. I don't like how they look. So if you have a Canon Pro 1000, you can print on 17 by 22 sheet. If you have larger printer, you can print even larger one. If all you have is Canon Pro 100, you can basically work with a smaller board, maybe 11 by 14 or something like this. So let's start. I have a print here, let me bring it over, that I just printed, and the print size of this print is about 13.13 by 19.13. So basically it's like 0.1 of an inch larger than the board. So first of all, I'm gonna trim it. And by the way, here are all the tools that you guys will need for this assembly. We have roller, Velcro strips, alcohol wipes, OmniGrid ruler, brush. I also gonna use the Keen Cut straight edge. I'm gonna trim the excess of the paper, and this doesn't have to be super accurate. The reason I want to trim the leftovers, the white area, is because it's going to be easier for me to reposition and align the print. Okay, so once I have it trimmed, I'm gonna take the whiteboard that I'm working with, and I believe the other tool that I will be using, and I didn't show initially, is this one, a lint roller. Yes, the lint roller. Because what happens if you have any dust between your photo and the board, it will become visible, especially if you have photos with a lot of plain areas like skies, where, you know what I mean, when there is not a lot of texture. What I also doing here is I'm running lint roller against the edges because they're kind of like a rough cut. All right, so I have it as dust free as possible. All right. And before I lay the photo, I'm gonna do this very lightly, extremely lightly. Cut the cover sheet in half, and I'll explain you, or you'll see in a few minutes why. And if you can see here, so the print is slightly, just by a nudge, larger than the board. Okay, so I'm eyeballing it, or finger feeling it, so to speak, and I think it's even. Okay, now my next step, I'm gonna very carefully move the photo like this and use the cork back ruler, and now on the other side I'm gonna peel this paper So the PVC board is self-adhesive, right? Now this is probably the most important part where it's very easy to screw up. I used to do this part with a squeaky, but I realized that the hand in the cotton glove is way better. So basically I'm literally massaging the print onto the board, and basically it sticks to the board only under the pressure of my hand. By this I make sure I have absolutely no bubbles. Believe me, it's very easy to put. If you just drop that paper, and there is no way you can push out the bubble out. And now when I come to the end, I move it from one corner to another. So every single square inch that you lay on the board has to go under the massaging of your hand. Okay, so I got 1/2. I'm checking that I have no bubbles, and I don't. Now I'm gonna move this to the other side. Now you'll be able to see it from the different angle. Okay, sometimes this photo doesn't wanna, sometimes you wanna have a heavier. Here we go. Okay, so same thing. I'm peeling the other half of the sheet. Now this part is a little bit trickier because it's very close to the area that's in here, so you want to kind of, despite the paperweights, here we go, kind of want to squeeze it out of there. So same thing. So now you won't be able to see my other hand, but you can see, and do it as slowly as you have. Okay, and make sure when you build this, guys and girls, you do it in as much dust-free environment as you can. Okay, because dust is absolutely not a friend of this. I had a lot of frameless prints that were kind of ruined because I could see dust, especially in areas like this. See where it's white under sharp angle? You can see it. Okay, so same thing. I started with in one corner and I'm moving this way. Here we go. Okay, now I'm gonna kind of massage it around the corners like this. Make sure it sticks properly. Here we go. Very nice. Now another tricky part. I mean, you could technically leave it like this if it would be for you. But see, we have an edge right here, and I'm gonna back trim it. Back trimming is a technique that takes some time to learn. First of all, you're gonna need a blade exactly like this, a razor knife. I'll post the link. Always use a fresh one. You can snap a section, and no matter, even if you use it 2 times before it, snap to a fresh one. Okay, so I'm a lefty, and I will be cutting on that side with my left hand, but what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna move it this way so you guys can see it. I always use paperweights to prevent it from sliding, or not paper, leather weights, right? Now you want to do it in one continuous cut. Okay, your blade is pretty much just pushing against the board, and that's why it's called back trimming. Okay, you can, if you're not confident about it, practice. Take a piece of paper like this, put it under the board, and practice a few times before you do it on the actual board. Okay, so not very comfy position for me. Here we go, nice and smooth. Now the other area I would do, though this mat is very smooth, don't rotate it with all your weights, okay, because it's not, you're gonna end up having scuffs. So make sure you lift it up every time. Alrighty, so we got all 4 edges cut. Now I'm gonna flip it back over so you can see the side. Alrighty, here we go. Now this is where the roller comes in, because I don't know if you can see it in the video, but when you do the back trimming cut, it pushes the very edge of the paper just a tiny bit, and it's fixable. You take the roller and you run it like this, angled, okay, and it will push the paper back. Now usually if I do frameless mount, I usually have a photo to rest at least an hour after it's being printed. Now this was printed with Canon Pro 1000 on a Canon Pro Luster paper using 17 by 22 sheet. Okay, and the last edge. This is perfect way to present your photos if you're, say, a wedding photographer like I am and you're participating in some kind of a bridal show, or if you want to have your own print wall and you just don't want to, you know, put every print in the photo mat or frame, but at the same time you don't want to have them loose. Okay, so this is it. This is the complete print. The edges are very nice and smooth. I'm gonna use the alcohol pad and wipe this clean, this area. The initial idea of frameless print came to me inspired by my wife, Mira, because she hates any holes in the walls. Every time I put a little nail in the hole in the wall, you should just see her face. So at some point I came out with the idea like, how about we just use Velcro strips to mount things on the wall? And customers are actually liking it too. So I'm using Omni Grid ruler just to, so these strips are kind of on the same line. It doesn't really matter where they are, kind of just try to keep them in the middle, I guess. And I got them together, and I actually even have like a little manual for clients how to stick it to the wall. Not that it's really needed, but here you go. So I got 3 Velcro strips like this, and when a customer brings it home, he or she will just peel the back and stick it right to the wall. Alright, basically this is the finished product. I'm gonna put it in plastic sleeve, and this is it. So, mystery uncovered. How do we make those fancy frameless prints? Thanks for watching. And here's a little bonus for you guys and girls. So this is our little print reveal wall, and this is very affordable and sustainable way of placing your prints. So what we have here, it's a crown molding from Home Depot attached to the wall with liquid nails, literally glued to the wall, and it has a little concave that gorgeously holds all the prints. So here is our print, here it is, and it even holds loose prints in larger frames. So here is the other side of our little print wall, and here's an 11 by 14 shadow box, and it just sits there, not planning to fold down. A frame, another frame with photo mat, and just the loose photo mat. And this is how it looks in general. Very easy to make, and you can replace those prints as often as you want without putting any holes in your walls.